Hello, this is Everett Pierce, and today is January the 7th, 2017. Now, this is under communications, and what I'm about to talk about can be placed under many categories, but a inseparable, one of the top 4 elements of energy is communications. Now, in regarding warfare, a lot of people don't like that name. I'm not very fond of warfare, but it is far better than saying extinction out of your mouth. When I say extinction, it's like I got a mouthful of shit. Pardon the expression. So, communication, everything around you, everything. You can't, even the littlest things. So, like when I was in prison, and I was doing analysis and my research of human behavior and the structure of things. Well, we had 9/11, and I was noticing a few other inmates were paying attention to me, and the building which I was in noticed that every time I came out of the building, pigeons were on the building, and there was one white, or actually it was a couple of them, and every time I would come out, they would show up. And just as an example, a true story, by the way. And I'm walking to the chow hall, and I look up, and they kind of swoop down, and one of the pigeons looked like they were doing a somersault, like something had happened to the pigeon. And then that was my final confirmation that something was going to happen in the United States. And as far as 9/11 in New York and Twin Towers. Okay, so as you see here with the lawn, as a leader, president of presidents, you know, one of the reasons why we have a vice president is because if I'm going to have my soldiers go out there and do something, put their lives on the line, I may have to put myself out there. If anything, to put the message is, I'm not going to have you do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So I kind of baffle some people. And the inmates in prison, you know, they thought I was crazy. I was like, what you talking about 9/11, Twin Towers coming down? You're crazy. Get your pills. And then, of course, when it happened, it was like, how in the fuck did you know that, Everett? Well, ask Joe and Joe. He's the one that took notice that things happen around me very differently. Okay, so look, when you look at this lawn, this is just a parable, an example, but it's not far from the truth of things. So you say, oh, that's a weed, that's just junk. Okay, and you see where it's in random spots all over. Now, we can go in areas here where the weeds, okay, if we come over here, where it takes on a particular pattern. In junction with my thinking, so there's several variables in terms of mathematics. The more variables you put in there is more specific. Or like you say, what are the odds are? Okay, so, say, we are at war. And the things that I'm worrying about is the 7-pound foot. So what does it say? I've already lost 10,000 of my soldiers because we're not positioned correctly. And it's these 7-pound foots, or you could say sniper, it's just killing us. A bloodbath. Okay? So not to further the bloodbath, and I'm thinking, okay, where's my answer? And I look down, and I see the format here. And I said, okay, this is better than nothing. Let's try something. And you know, if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging. So I remember this pattern. I said, okay, I get with my crew. I said, I think I know what the problem is. We are thinking that they're in a kind of linear way. Is they have caught on to that, and they have stagnated themselves. So remember this pattern here. So as you're coming, you can kind of visualize where that maybe that sniper's at. So like these weeds, you know, the energy around me is going to communicate to me. Now, if I wasn't thinking like I'm not in war, okay, this also has a different message depending on how I'm viewing this. So there are several variables, at least 3 variables that has to be in here. Now, say for example, I come up to this, and I know with the 3 variables, and all of a sudden I look up in the sky, And then I have 3 birds that fly across. And then I have another 3 birds that fly across. And I'm looking at the angle of it. And say, okay, they're at 45. So now I said, okay, there's another variable. So we got to remember this pattern. And we come in at a 45. And you say, wow, okay. Because evidently in their thinking, we are coming straight on at them. And that's exactly how we're doing it. So they know how we're coming at them. So if we come in an angle, now we are deviating what they think of us. And that, in terms of warfare, you have to be 10 steps ahead of them. You know, and the thing that's going to stump any nation, no matter how big you are, how powerful you are, is a 7-pound foot. And I call it the 7-pound foot is because, like John Riggins, he can carry 3 people in the end zone, big and strong. But it's that someone that tackles that foot, he'll take him down, even though he's 300 pounds or 400 pounds. So you always have to have that is the most impact thing that can stop you the most. So I would take in everything. And you say, oh, Everett, that's just the weed. No, I call that my salvation. You know, in junction with other variables. So if I'm trying to problem solve, and say, for example, I need an answer, and I have to confirm it 3 times, and I'm looking for my 3rd time, and I don't mean by asking the same person 3 times. Okay, I'm already at 2 yeses. So I sit down, have a cup of coffee with my buddy Mike, and we get to talking, and then as soon as I start thinking, what's my next answer? Okay. And then just as soon as I think that, I hear someone in the distance walking down the street with his girlfriend saying, hallelujah, brother. And he's talking to someone totally different. I don't even know him. Okay, that would be my 3rd confirmation. Now, depending on the severity of it, I may not be happy with a 3rd confirmation. I may want to take it out to a 6th confirmation. Now, with our intelligence in America, from my understanding, we have 17 intelligence agencies. So that should be utilized as a tool, 17 confirmations. So when you come forth with facts and intelligence, somewhere along the line, it's going to overlap. And it's going to shed light on things. You'll be able to see the 7-pound foot. You'll see the truth. You'll see the false. You'll see what's in there that was placed in there by extinction, and what's been also placed in there by the highest level of evolution, meaning God. And then once you start identifiable, things are identifiable, just like a chess player in warfare. And any general, any president out there, you have to know your pieces. You have to know how to move it, when to move it. And if you've not got the communications, then you bring about a paralytic, meaning you are paralyzed. It's like cutting your legs off. So this is just an example. Just an example. They're mixed in parable with some truth in there to give you an idea. The significance behind communications. With that, this is Everett Pierce. On this 7th day of January 2017. So 13 more days, and Trump is Mr. President Trump. Yay! Okay, if you appreciate my videos, a token of your appreciation, or you want to make a donation, or a love gift, or whatever you want to call it, you can do that at paypal.me, capital EVERETT, capital PIERCE. So, your time is valuable as mine. I appreciate your time, and Godspeed.